So we will next hear from Rick and Martha Omilian from Plainwell, Michigan. Thank you both so much for being here, and we're looking forward to hearing your testimony. Not yet, but there's a little button at the base of the mic.
Thank you.
Black button. Thank you. Hi. Thank you for inviting us. We did bring our daughter with us. Is it okay if we put her up? See? We're going to talk about her. As you said, we are Rick and Martha Omilian. We're from Kalamazoo County, and we live near Plainwell, Michigan. It's between Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids. We want to thank you for the invitation to come and speak in support of the domestic violence offenders restriction bills, Senate Bill 471 and 472, currently being considered by this committee. We are survivors of domestic violence, gun violence. We speak as grieving parents, and these are our own words that Martha and I have composed, and I'm delivering them. We talked about how we wanted to do this. Our daughter, Maggie Wardle, was murdered by an ex-boyfriend on October 18th, 1999, 24 years ago, in a dormitory room at Kalamazoo College. Her attacker bought the shotgun using a driver's license with his college address on it from a local firearms dealer in Kalamazoo. He bought it a week earlier, and he hid it in his room before he lured her to his room and killed himself after stealing Maggie's life. For the last 25 years, we have advocated in Maggie's memory, testifying to a 2001 bipartisan Michigan Domestic Violence Task Force about the need to designate dating violence as domestic violence, which was not happening at the time. We had no idea when she died that she didn't have protections. But when that committee, that task force made the recommendations, they guaranteed protections to victims of intimate partner violence, a significant change in the law, kind of like you're considering today, to make a difference. We've spoken in local classrooms to young people about healthy relationships and the warning signs of dating violence. We've advocated through groups like Million Moms March, the Brady Campaign, and now Moms Demand Action for the changes in gun laws we support to protect women, children, and families. We were here earlier this year outside in the lobby in support of the secure firearms storage, universal background checks, and extreme risk protection orders legislation that recently passed in the Michigan legislature and were signed by Governor Whitmer. Today, we supported these bills that would impose firearm ownership restrictions on those with domestic violence convictions to protect women and men, children, and families. These bills, when passed and enforced here in Michigan, can support current laws and protective order procedures, and as you heard, federal laws, which can save the life of someone like Maggie in the future. Over 4.5 million women have reported being threatened with a gun in the U.S. by an intimate partner. Nearly 1 million women alive today have reported being shot or shot at by intimate partners. In some instances, with these bills today, we can stop these potentially dangerous situations before a firearm is used. A convicted domestic violence offender, male or female, has shown by their past behavior that access to a firearm is not appropriate at that point in their life. This is not a violation of their rights or a threat to those who are responsible gun owners, but it is a reasonable reaction to past behavior and the history of the abuser. That's what's at stake here. We can't look back 24 years and say that this type of law would have specifically saved Maggie's life in the situation she found herself. At the time, we did not understand as her parents the extent of his abusive need for power and control over her. She was emotionally abused by him in their interaction and made to feel that she owed him her understanding. He was not physically abusive. He was not charged with domestic violence in his past, as this law would specify, but he did show red flags that he could hurt himself. And he was angry with her that year, and he bought a gun. Purchasing that shotgun and hiding it in his dorm room for a week was his final threat of power and control to our beautiful, strong, assertive daughter. He believed that accessible firearm was his power, his last chance to stop her bright future, the one without him in it. The moment that he pulled out that shotgun for Maggie to see is forever etched in our minds. If laws existed like the bills you are considering today and were in place, we would have helped Maggie in any way possible to protect her, as we always did in her short life. She's not defined by his violence, but rather by her character and her family's love for her. That is why these bills you consider today and others you passed this year are so important to us. They will save someone's life and give them the chance to live a full, meaningful life, the chance Maggie did not get. Many instances of gun violence, like the violence that took Maggie, are fueled by domestic violence and misogyny. These bills you vote on won't end all gun violence or stop all other means of gun violence that you might want, or of any that you might want to consider. It won't address mental health issues of those who are at risk of hurting themselves or others. It won't solve all the problems of guns in the hands of criminals. You will have to pass other laws to do that, and you should. Today, we ask that you vote on and pass these bills and save lives one at a time. We want to thank all of our family, friends, and Maggie's classmates and friends for supporting us and standing with us always, remembering Maggie.
Thank you very much for sharing her story and for your courage for being here today. Do we have any questions from committee members? Senator Shink?
Thank you for being so strong to come talk to us about this. I mean, as I'm sitting here thinking about being on the edges of domestic violence in my life, not ever having actually experienced it, and things that I had pushed back in my memory that were scary and dangerous. And then thinking about how hard it must be for you to talk about this, and maybe, you're well practiced in speaking, but I'm sure you'll never be well practiced in missing your daughter. So I just thank you.
Do you want to add anything to that?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. Yes, it is very difficult, but I will do this to my last breath because Maggie should still be able to be here. Thank you.
Thank you both so much.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Addison Coulter.